Well, it's been interesting times the last few weeks since I last talked to you guys. Yeah, all kinds of fun. But we'll talk about it here in a minute. As soon as I get my button gear here and get moving, which I'm obviously apparently struggling with here. Yeah. Anyways. Today, I decided I'm going to take a little run up towards Devil's Tower, maybe. And maybe hope to, dear God, that, I don't get hit with a thunderstorm or hail or massive wind. It's been an interesting few days around here at home. Thursday night, got some massive hail around here, did all kinds of damage. I fortunately was not on the bike. I actually was on the bike in town, made a return, saw what the sky looked like, and thought, okay, you know what, it's time to get the heck out of Dodge. So I went home, grabbed the vehicle, went back into town to get supper. Well, on the way home from supper, got a massive little shiner in the middle of the windshield and all kinds of damage, and it was quite a catastrophic storm. I mean, it basically shot right down I-90 and just took out everything in its path with hail. So there's a reason why every hail repair specialist that has to do with roofing and vehicles and all is not from here, because they all moved here because, well, we're one of the hail hot spots in the country. Then last night, it was massively hot and humid. It was hot. It was really humid the rest of the afternoon, and we got about nice line of storms come through last night with about 70 to 80 mile an hour winds and blew things all over the place. And yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. But so today, we're hoping we don't run into any of that. There's a chance of thunderstorms today. However, we're not in the enhanced risk, which, in other words, low risk. National Weather Service, the only place where, low means enhanced. And I suppose you think about it, like, I don't know, what does the Weather Service call a low bridge? An enhanced bridge. Low hanging fruit for the National Weather Service is enhanced laying fruit. Anyways, that's beside the point. It's a good ride today. We're going to do some riding. Also, another thing that has happened in the last few weeks, this video would have been coming out last week, but I had to make an emergency run to Minneapolis it was last Monday to deliver some supplies, and yes, it was tied to everything going on there, but I got in there, I got out. It was actually for my work too, so I wasn't like doing anything with like whatever. Anyways, bottom line is I had to go to Minneapolis last Monday. That ruined my only day off I had last week. So here we are. Also, obviously, so the Saturday before Memorial Day, I attempted an iron butt ride. And I did complete the iron butt ride. And also it has been officially approved. I received my email on, I believe it was Monday actually. Actually made for a good end to that very long day on Monday. But yeah, got my notification on Monday, said, yep, you are good to go, sir. Welcome to the association. I have not have my number memorized yet, so I apologize for that. But yes, it is legit. it is true. I am actually legitimately a member of the Iron Butt Association now. Now I'm just waiting for my certificates. But anyways, which I'm glad that I'm officially a member now, because this helps with this next video. Essentially, what I'm going to talk about is things I learned during the Iron Butt ride. Like things that I learned that I didn't know beforehand. Some lessons learned. So the first thing I learned is, honestly, it was not as hard as I thought it would be. I mean, in my mind, I had this thing really built up to be some kind of just unattainable task, and I know it wasn't, because so many people, a lot of people have done it. Now, not a lot like everyone's, but, you know, a number of people have done it. And a number of people have done more than the Saddle Sore 1000s. That's what I did. I did the Saddle Sore 1000. Essentially, I had a trailer to pick up in Clarks, Nebraska. It was 400 miles one way to get there. And I figured, well, just add 200 more miles to your trip, round trip, and make it 1,000 and get it done with. So that's what we did. So, but still, like in my mind, I must have really had this built up, because really it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It was still tough. It was still challenging. And I wasn't near as tired as I thought I would be too. I was mentally fatigued. That's where the real thing is. Like that, it's all about the mental game with that run. Especially, I had a few moments where, you know, it tests your intestinal fortitude. So one of those moments was about, I can't remember what it was. It was still dark out. It was way early in the morning. Hit Murdo and ran into fog, and probably went through about 2.5 hours of fog, where it'd be really foggy, and then it'd be okay, and then it'd be really foggy again. And so this was like 2.5 hours of just like, oh, now we're going 45 miles an hour again. Oh, now we can speed up. Like, just madness. And, you know, that was one of those first moments where I'm like, my mind's saying, you know what, hell with this thing. And nope, we didn't give up. We kept going. So we got through that one, and really, that was the biggest wall of the day for me, honestly. Right when the sun come up, I fought, you know, the tired bug just a tad. But it was nothing that, you know, standing up, you know, made a little pit stop at a rest area and just walked around for about 5 minutes and was able to snap out of it, you know. Otherwise, it was, like I said, it was really a mental game more than anything. And that's just kind of the way it is, like, you know. Now, I'm sure if you hadn't had much riding experience, it'd be a different story, but where you've had plenty of riding experience, you know, that helps. Another thing I learned is that you need to be good at preparing for the unexpected. And what I mean by that is you're doing 1,000 miles in, well, for me it was 20 hours, so you're doing 1,000 miles in that short amount of time, you're covering that kind of distance, you're on a motorcycle. There's bound to be weird things that are going to happen. For me, it started right up at the front. Get to the first stop, get my fuel receipt, and it says see attendant. The problem was the gas station I chose was not open 24 hours. So, down the road we went a mile to another gas station, stuffed in about 20 cents worth of gas to get my dated time receipt. Thank God. However, when I got home, I discovered that receipt said Blackhawk and not Somerset for the address. Like, come on. Yeah, so just weird. You got to be prepared for weird things like that, and you got to be able to kind of quickly overcome them. Now, this factors into another thing I learned that I bought, well, for Android, it's called Bubbler GPS Pro. I had spent $10 for the Pro version. Let me tell you, that $10 was money well spent, because that provided me the backup plan for the run. Essentially what Bubbler does is it feeds into a website called Spotwallah, and so it feeds into Spotwallah, and that's an independent site, verifies your location. It's one of the sites that Iron Butt Association approves for tracking your runs, especially those specialty runs that you know, that there's some runs that absolutely require it. So it's a very good app, and you can get the free one, but it doesn't update as good. Like, it's only 15-minute updates instead of 10 or 5. And you can do photos, but you can't do videos. But I tell you what, I splurged, got the $10 version. I haven't sat there every 5 minutes. It updates. It's not a bad little app. It was really handy at the end of that trip having that as my backup plan. Because I had another place where the receipt didn't even print the town name on it. Like nothing. No town name, no information, nothing. Another one of those Spotwallah saved my rear end on that one. But that, like I said, it's $10. I don't know how much the Apple version that feeds to it is, but it's $10, but it's for peace of mind. And also, it's great because I gave my wife the links and she could track where I'm going, you know, because 1,000 miles in a day, that's, you know, your loved ones at home might be a little bit like trepidated, like, wow, that's a lot of miles, you know. So having this little app definitely helps. I'm sure it helped my cause. If you're one of those trying to do an iron butt run and you're trying to do something like this, that like you're trying to get your cause help, download that app, show it to your loved ones, and maybe that'll help give them some peace of mind. I really think it will, to be honest with you. I think it will give them plenty of peace of mind. I think they'll, like I said, it's really nice, and I still use it every ride I go on now. I'll go in Spotwallah, create a trip beforehand. My wife knows the link to it, so that way if something happens, if I haven't been home for a while, she can see where at least my cell phone was last at. So it's better than nothing. If something happens, you're in the middle of nowhere, guess what? You'll have, you know, they'll at least have an idea where you're at. So, which doesn't hurt nothing. The other thing that was nice about it, it was a good way for me to track all my fuel receipts, take pictures of where I was, all that stuff, track my stops. I learned that I really love riding. Like, because there are times where you're on this run and you're just like, it will never end. You're just like, ah. But I tell you what helps you out is when you ride it, when you love riding, it's what you can focus on. For me, I'd say probably about mile, I'd probably say 650 to about 850. Yeah, probably about that. I didn't feel too bad at all, but I think the thing was I was riding my motorcycle and I was riding through the sandhills, and the sandhills were absolutely gorgeous that day. I mean, if you really don't, if you're kind of one of those in-between riders that doesn't really know if they like it or not, you're going to find out when you're doing that iron butt run how much you really enjoy it. Because if you get done with it and you're like, man, that was fun, you know, then you probably do like riding. Now, granted, you may not be like, oh yeah, I want to get right back on and do another 1,000, but I tell you what, if you get done with one of those runs and you think it's fun, you must really enjoy riding. That's another secret in with the iron butt runs is making a quick stop. I mean, I'm really good at popping in and out of a place fast. I mean, some of it thanks to COVID-19. Obviously, I planned ahead. I planned it so I could, if I had to, I didn't have to buy any food along the way. Now, if I would have been at that end, that last stop in Alliance, if I wouldn't have been thunderstorms all over, you know what, I probably would have stopped and had a little something warm to eat at Alliance. But the problem was by then the storms were starting to move in, and I'm like, I knew I had to move. So, but I'd say my average stop was probably 10 to 15 minutes. Picking up the trailer was about a 30-minute stop, well, for obvious reasons, because it takes a little time, because obviously the trailer's out, but had to sign paperwork and check the lights and, you know, get a tag put on it and all that fun stuff. So it took a little bit of time, but for the most part, my stops were fairly quick. I think I only had to use the bathroom like 3 times, actually at truck stops. Otherwise, I was able to use like rest areas, which definitely saved some time. And like I said, not buying nothing. You don't have to stand in line waiting to buy a soda. It makes a difference. You're going to learn how comfortable your seats and stuff are on your bikes when you ride that long. You're definitely going to do that. I best have a pretty good seat because I wasn't too bad. Although I'm still thinking I'm eventually going to buy one of those Russell Daylong seats, or not buy one, but have mine converted by them. I mean, I still think I'm going to do that because I think it'd still be a great idea, but equipment felt good, and like I said, good equipment the whole way. That's another thing. You're going to find out how good your equipment is. And honestly, if you take any long trip, you're going to find out how good your equipment is. But when you're going 1,000 miles one day, you know, quick stops, pretty much running, chances are you're running down the highway probably 65, 70 the whole way, because you don't want to waste a lot of time on these stops or on these runs, because time's a ticking. So you learn a lot about how good your bike is, and my bike handled it, which honestly I had no doubts that it wasn't going to handle it, because, well, I've got a Honda Goldwing, and, you know, let's be honest, if you can't trust a Honda Goldwing to get you someplace, what can you trust, you know? I mean, honestly, what can you trust if you can't trust the Honda Goldwing? So, what else did I learn? Oh, here's another thing I learned. I learned that maybe well, I don't know if it was a learn, but it was more of a ask myself the question, why the heck didn't I do that sooner? And honestly, I don't really have a good reason. I think they're all stupid excuses. I used to have this whole little set of like, I want to do one, but I want to do it with somebody, and you know, I want to be able to trust them when I'm riding, and all this crap, and you know, whatever. I don't know, it was all these stupid rules, and some of it stemmed from, I've been left on a motorcycle before and didn't get a call back from the person that left me until like, a day and a half later, or crap like that. So I'm kind of paranoid on that, and I tell you what, I'm glad I just did it. I learned that just getting up and just doing it was the best way to do it, I think. Doing it by yourself, especially if you trust your equipment and everything, you can do it all by yourself. And honestly, sometimes doing it all alone is the best thing, because then you ain't got to worry about anybody, you ain't got to drag anybody along, anything like that. Another thing I learned, and I probably may have already covered this kind of earlier, but you should probably have, in my mind after riding this, I think you should have like 5 years or 30,000 miles of experience on a bike. And you should probably have at least one like good like week-long, like 1,500 to 2,000 mile week. And especially on that piece of equipment you have, because, if you got that kind of experience, by then you kind of know how your stops are, you kind of know yourself as a rider, stuff like that. If you do this your first year, you're probably going to fail, because you don't even know how you ride yet. But like, and even in my case, been riding for, 16 years now, plenty of miles, and so I had a pretty good idea of how I ride and how I approach things. And same goes for your equipment. I learned that your equipment is just as important, and I knew that before, but it really sunk in here, because if your bike can't make it 100 miles, or it's never made it 100 miles, how are you going to make 1,000 miles in one day, especially when time's a ticking? Because here's the thing, once you start that receipt and you declare that start time, you're on the clock. You got 24 hours to finish it, or whatever run you're on. That's when the clock starts. It doesn't care if you break down. It doesn't care if you go through fog. It doesn't care if you go in a hotel and sleep for 8 hours and miss your freaking wake-up call. It doesn't care. The clock continues to tick the whole time. So you should always keep that in the top of your mind, that you want something that'll get you there. Oh, one more thing I learned. Submitting electronically to the Iron Butt Association is the way to go. Now, in the past, what you had to do is you had to get all your receipts, take pictures of those said receipts, run copies of those pictures, and include that in the packet. In that packet, you also had to get maps. You had to circle everywhere you went. You had to do stop numbers. You had to do witness statements. Like, you had this massive stack of paperwork, probably like that thick. My boss, or my main supervisor at work, or the overall supervisor of the whole shop, or the whole warehouse, he said you had to have a stack that big of paper they had to send it. He did it 10 years ago. That was before they did it electronically. Well, now you can submit electronically, and I would highly recommend that, because it is a lot easier. And honestly, now if you don't have a scanner, it's not that hard. All you got to do is get on your cell phone. There's plenty of camera scan app programs. There's CamScan. I use the Adobe Scan, or Picture Scan, or whatever it's called, I think that's the name of it. So, all that stuff. So, keeping all that in mind, it definitely makes a difference. It helps to have all that. Um, 'cause, because honestly, I submitted it Sunday night, and I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I knew that I was going to get a lot of response. I kne It's a shame. I pretty much missed the whole Coca-Cola 600 because I was I was busy working on my iron butt stuff. But you know, priorities, right? And my so I submitted it on Sunday night, and basically you submit everything in PDF document, and that's how you submit it all. Your maps, everything. And then with me, I submitted a Spotwallah app as well. That map, so that all helped. I had my email Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night I got that email. So, no, Monday night. So it was an 8-day turnaround. 8 day. Now, I'm sure it helps that they probably aren't getting tons of submissions because of COVID-19 is keeping a lot of people at home. But I tell you what, submitting it electronically, you ain't got to worry about snail mail taking 8 to 10 days to send that, because let's face it, that packet's going to take you a while. And they discourage you from sending it overnight because they basically have a post office box that the volunteers go to, I think, from my understanding. So, yeah, sending it overnight ain't going to help you much. But I tell you what, you submit that thing electronically, that's the way to go. And once again, I am Richard Lewis with the Sodak Motorcycle Blog. We do content about the motorcycles from the content of western South Dakota, and we mix a little bit of Sturgis in there as well, because honestly we live 20 miles from there. And I'm just here, I'm making videos and sharing my motorcycle adventures, I guess, and experiences with you. So I'd like to thank all you for stopping by, for checking out the videos, for all the support you've been giving the blog since, well, in August we're coming up on our 3rd year. So in these 3 years, I keep thanking everybody for your support. I really enjoy it. We ain't out here trying to, make money or anything dumb like that. We're just trying to show what I do to people, and it's very awesome that people actually like it and enjoy it. So, but anyways, one last time, I'm Richard Lewis with the Sodak Motorcycle Blog, and just want to remind you to keep the rubber side down and enjoy the ride.